Therefore, understand now, we need the strength of Garrosh Hellscream.
Are you mad?
Yeah, no.
He can't be serious.
Nope.
My friends, we need allies. We have to put aside our differences and come
He
together.
killed my father.
Your father? Oh, right. You're not Cairn. Ha! I sort of forgotten about that.
He destroyed my city. My friends.
Oh, he did that too? I thought it was goblins. I apologize.
He dropped a bell on me.
Really?
Yeah, and he called me names.
All right. How about you, Thrall?
Don't you remember? I'm the one who sent him there. Here we go. In single combat.
Sure.
A Mak'gara.
Oh.
See? I win my Mak'garas. Right. I got carried away there.
Well, then it's just us and the robot.
I'm here. Where are the sexy robots? I found one.
Hey, it's Soul, and welcome back to another episode of Warcraft Weekly, the best Warcraft news show out there when you don't consider any of the others. We're brought to you by the always monstrous Brutosaur party over on Twitch, who makes me sweat. No, they really make me work for them subscriptions. Also, a shout out to our beloved patrons, including Laura, who has been extra generous, thank you very much, and to newcomers. You know, I get it. I think they have it in their heads to get a new video card too. Too bad, they're all sold out. Destroyer of dreams. Anyway, we have a show today, so let's dive right in. Just this week, Battle.net clients around the world began background downloading the Shadowlands pre-expansion patch, which comes out soon. I've got to admit that it's got me slightly nervous being on the PTR, and what I see feels a little bit bare, I guess. Where's the pre-expansion questline, Blizz? Where's the Argent healers? Where are the slightly annoying zombies? With all these little micro impressions on the PTR and the beta, and by that, I'm talking about stuff that's broken and unknown, conduit levels, I'm talking to you. It makes me wonder if Blizzard really is ready for the pre-patch of what is, as usual, their most important expansion ever. And are they ready for a global launch in less than 40 days? The past few weeks have been huge for gaming overall, if you've been paying attention, and whether it was the WoW developers or people higher up the chain who decided on when, Shadowlands is still scheduled to launch ahead of the big old PC and console releases. Will it pay off though? Someone important enough seems to think so. I know at least some of you are worried though, so I encourage you all to continue sharing concerns and giving feedback on things that you think suck. But also consider that the folks at Blizzard and a lot of other game developers around the world are tinkering away from home. Some of them are all but isolated, trying to create a product that they've poured themselves into over the course of years that you and I can consume in moments by comparison. Now, I'm not telling you to be soft, but to feel proud to be a gamer for just a second. Cheer them on and let them know that you look forward to their games. I'm trying to empathize here, like I don't put in the same kind of work that they do, but I get it. I sit here in front of a camera, acting like a fool, hoping that I get a chuckle or a like from someone who spends a few minutes on the John watching something that I think I put a lot of time into. Hey, thanks for the spontaneous transition, Garrosh Hellscream. Best of luck to you. Now let's move it right along. In the Shadowlands beta, a small but significant change was made to the loot that you'd receive when completing a Mythic Plus dungeon. For those who are familiar, in Season 4 of Battle for Azeroth, the highest level of dungeon loot that you can get from an end of a run had an item level of 465. While heroic raid gear dropped 460 gear. Now we can go on all day about which activity is harder to do, or how you had to put in the work in order to get said gear from Mythic Plus. But the fact of the matter is that Mythic Plus does not loot lock like raids do. You can spam it. BFA Season 4 was especially bad because for the gear-minded person, raid difficulties before Mythic had almost no value to them with regards to item level, and it wasn't spammable. So in Shadowlands, things may change. In this build, the highest item level reward that you can get out of a dungeon chest is 210, which is a whopping 3 item level less than what you can get from Heroic Castle Nathria. And if you look at the Wowhead comments, people are pretty mixed over the change. So I need your help, oh warmers of toilet seats, because frankly, I don't know why this isn't anything but a fair change. Lowering the rewards from the end of chest run to something below heroic item level takes at least some of the pressure off of raiders to feel like they're forced to not just run, but to spam Mythic Plus. Now, of course, raiders in the competitive scene don't apply here because, of course, they're going to do everything and anything that they can do to get their characters up as fast as they can. And a change anywhere that threatens that pace is something that they're going to complain about. I'm simply talking about protecting the general value of heroic raids, and also to slow down loot trading in heroic raids. Because as we all know, players need to loot gear at a certain item level before they can later trade this gear to others. It's a separate issue that really, it just comes down to, dude, Blizzard, just lift item trading restrictions already, okay? Most of the pushback that I've seen comes from this Mythic Plus versus raiding mentality as if one is better than the other. And I don't think it's a competition, because it's clear which one is better. A lot of them also say that, oh my god, with this change I'm going to unsub, GG, Ashes of Creation, yada yada yada. More than a few Wowhead comments have said that. I'm not questioning which is easier, because that's not the point being made with this change. A heroic raid can be run only once a week, while 15s can be run as long as you've got someone with a key and the will. And at the end of that week, the person who ran those keys will get a selection of mythic level pieces to choose from, which I would argue is the reward that most folks doing Mythic Plus are shooting for anyway. Now I can feel the responses now. Well, Soul, if you want the gear, run Mythic Plus. Smart. But you're only making the point more clear. It's not about which is the harder content or who deserves more of what, it's just about accessibility. I don't think anyone is asking for an end to Mythic Plus spam, where you only get, what, like one chance of loot in a given dungeon, in a given key level each week, you know, for the sake of fairness with heroic raiding, because one, that sounds really confusing, and two, it's dumb. That just hurts way more people than it helps. I've also read on the comments on the item level 233 gear that drops from the final 2 bosses of the upcoming raid in Mythic difficulty. According to their feedback, the 233 gear should be nerfed entirely, or there should be a way to obtain 233 gear running Mythic Plus. But will this change force people into raid content when they don't really want to? Of course, the short answer is yes, because it's about the principle of it, because technically 233 is a bigger number than 226, which is the highest attainable gear possible from a Mythic Plus chest. As a reminder, there are secondary stats to consider that makes all the difference at the highest levels of gear, but Soul, it's the principle. Right. So I'd like to hear thoughts from some of you, the actual high-end players. Will your behavior change? Will you literally quit because of these changes? Fact is that the person who does everything at the highest level is going to have access to all the best stuff. That is the takeaway. The other takeaway is that I didn't talk about PvP gearing, which makes it feel like they're getting, dumped on, but now I get to slide over to PvP gearing updates in Shadowlands. Good going. Fans got some good news the other week that stat distribution would be improved in PvP, and in a post this week we got a taste of what's to come. All PvP gear in Shadowlands has versatility now as one of its main stats, and 2 of the 3 stat combinations possible that include versatility will be available for every slot. Now that once again means that perfect secondary stats are not attainable through just PvP or just one game mode period, but we just talked about that. The smaller change is that a set bonus has been added to PvP trinkets. Now, if you have 2 PvP trinkets equipped, you get this new snazzy 20% bonus to the throughput that comes from versatility. In the beta, that means your throughput versatility goes from 20% to 24%, and this is going to go up as we get further into the expansion. This puts players at a crossroads though. Do you use the PvP trinkets to get a small boost in throughput and anti-crowd control? Or do you pick up different trinkets like from Mythic Plus or raids to have an arguably more powerful burst at the expense of getting CC'd? Personally, I think this is a pretty good start, but the set bonus could use maybe a bit of a buff. Maybe raise the numbers a little bit, or let the full benefit of versatility apply. Enough from me though, how about you PvPers? You guys can give more valuable input. What do you think of this shift? So we've talked covenants and covenant switching to death and reanimation, and I think at this point it's on farm. But what I'd like to do in this last part of the weekly is to just lay it all out on the table so you can understand this just about as well as I do and come to your own conclusions that I would love for you to share. On your first playthrough, you will go through all 4 zone quest lines, and in the meantime, experience the Covenant abilities, the arguably more substantial gameplay difference when it comes to choosing your Covenant. On all of your playthroughs afterwards though, your alts can choose to take the Threads of Fate option, which is open-ended leveling, where you can do just about anything you want out in the world. You can choose a Covenant right away and take its powers wherever you want. Or not. At least right now in the beta, if you don't choose a Covenant, while leveling through this Threads of Fate feature, you will get an ability based on the zone or the dungeon that you're in. So that's great for those of you who are on the fence on which ability feels best for you and you want an opportunity to move back and forth doing some actual combat. Once you're max level and you choose a Covenant, switching to a different one is really no sweat. You just talk to an NPC here in the Conclave and go through a few prompts. To switch back to a Covenant that you already left, well, there's a little bit of work. 2 weekly quests to complete objectives in the Covenant's home zone. With both quests complete, all is forgiven, you rejoin, and your renown and Covenant progression is restored to its former glory. That's it. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this almost maybe finalized system. And I'm talking about your thoughts, not what you think other people think, not what the pros or the casuals or that one YouTuber thinks. Just you. Will you switch your Covenant at every opportunity? As in, like, will you plan it out so 1 week you're this Covenant, but next week you have a bad affix combo so you're going to switch to another? How are you going to level your alts? Have you already decided what Covenant all of your alts are going to take, or will you bounce around conducting violent experiments as you level? Do the abilities even matter to you? Do these choices matter to you? I'm asking specific questions like these because you and I are so used to the overgeneralizations of the internet. Presumptions that players will behave this way or that way because our headcanon is really sure of it. And I wanted to lay all this out to give you a sense of where we started with the Shadowlands announcement and where we are today, knowing that tomorrow things could be different too. What do you think of all this? And that's the show. So we didn't get an announcement for the pre-patch. Bummer, but not entirely unexpected. The 29th is the most likely date for the pre-patch to drop, but to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't take the 6th of October off the table either, which would knock a week off of the pre-patch celebrations. But is that so bad? The pre-patch events are here, you'll definitely have things to do, and I'm sure lots of people have been holding off on making new characters so they can do it after the level squish. I'm one of them. By comparison, the War of Thorns in the Battle for Azeroth pre-patch was more fun to read about than to actually do. I mean, they released novellas and everything. And delaying the patch 1 extra week would give you folks a chance to knock out anything that you missed before it goes away, so, get to it while you still can. I think now is a good time to send you off, so I want to thank you all for making it to the end, and if you don't mind, like the video if you enjoyed yourself. Subscribe for more of this and all things Warcraft, and we will see you next week. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.